Imagine hearing, "You're not good enough. Why are you doing that? I told you to stop. Are you stupid? Do you ever listen to me?" When we grow up hearing things like that, it becomes our child's inner voice. I'm Veenu Keller. It's time to redefine parenting and give your kids a childhood they won't have to heal from. I'm Veenu Keller, and today we're going to be talking about our child's inner voice and how it's developed. When I was a young child, I would always hear the things that I was not doing right, instead of hearing all the things that I was doing correctly. Between what I was hearing at home and getting made fun of at school, my inner voice was not very nice to me. My inner voice never celebrated me. My inner voice never saw any good in me. Throughout the years of growing up and changing my perspective on life, I've realized that we have an opportunity to change our inner voice. And that's really what I worked on. Because as I raised my two children that are adults now, I realized I too gave them an inner voice of not being enough, of always seeing what's wrong. And I learned that I had to let go of the baggage. If this resonates with you, put a thumbs up or put a comment that what you feel has been your inner voice. Or what inner voice have you been giving to your children? Are you talking to them as they're not doing anything right? Or are you talking to them about what they are doing right? What we say to our children is so imperative, especially because their brain is growing from the time they're birth to 12, from the experiences they have and the influences they have. So we as parents are their biggest influencers. We have to be able to give them an inner voice where they're actually self-building instead of self-beating. How many of us, just think about this question for a moment, how many of us as adults have learned how to self-beat so much? Because we think if we see everything that's wrong with us, we'll be able to make it better. We'll be able to fix it. What if there was nothing to fix? What if we were already okay? We just weren't told that. It's time to put our baggage down and parent through fresh eyes. I talk about this in my 6-week course, Crack the Code on Parenting, in week 2 on how to let go of that baggage. How do we see our kids in fresh eyes to give them the words that they need to hear? What words would you want your children to hear from you? What would you want them to go to school thinking about when they're not doing well on a test, or they feel intimidated walking down the halls? What would you want them to hear in their mind? Would you want them to hear, "You got this. I am so proud of you. No matter what the challenges are, I know you can face it and you will come out on top. No matter how many times you fall in life, I know that I've set you up to win and you're going to come up on top. You're going to know how to get up on your own feet. You don't need me to pick you up anymore because you got this." Can you imagine if that was your inner voice growing up? Where would you be today? We have a chance as parents to redefine the way we parent. We don't have to parent the way that we were brought up. We have an opportunity to change it now, and it's not too late. Even with my children that are adults, my stepdaughters that come and visit me, our twins that are only 9, and even my granddaughter who's 4. We have now started to give new language to them. We start to see what's right versus what's wrong. We celebrate what they're doing right versus always telling them what they're not doing right. We give them opportunity to make choices and let them know there are no labels. We don't have to say, what you did was wrong or what you did was right. You either make a good choice or a not so good choice. But when you don't make a good choice, guess what? You learn from it. It's a learning opportunity. We don't always learn from all the greatness that we accomplish in our lives. Sometimes we have to learn from the struggles, from the challenges that we're faced with. The key is the inner voice, though. What are we telling ourselves? What are we saying to ourselves when we are in that moment of vulnerability? Are we saying to ourselves, "I'm not worth it. I'm not enough. I'm dumb. Nobody believes in me anyway"? if we're saying that, I challenge you now to think about what could you change those words to create your own self-worth, empower yourself. Because when you can start to do that, you're also able to start doing this with your children. You're able to change their inner voice just by seeing what greatness they're doing. And you too can help them stack this so when they're our age, when they're adults, they have that self-worth. They have that self-confidence because you as their parents learned how to give them their self-worth. You taught them that they're enough. To read more about uplifting your children, giving them their self-worth, get my book today, Teach Your Children That They're Enough, at veenuinspires.com/ebook. And it will give you more tips and strategies on how to empower your children even more. Thanks.